Hello and welcome to the channel. I am Strix Firevine, and I'm today fiddling around in the Sega Mega Drive's Genesis Classics that you can pick up on Steam. My room never looked this nice in the 90s. The phone, at least, is generally correct. But I'm gonna play some Shining Force, start up a series on that. Before I get this going, if you have problems with like flashing blues and reds on the screen, please go and watch something else. I don't want anyone to go through a seizure or anything over the fact that this is Sega Genesis, and they had a big problem with that because we hadn't figured that those things out just yet. Till 1993. I will be reading through dialogue and stuff, but all this stuff here doesn't really matter that much. We will figure it out in-game in a way that makes more sense. Oh, I'm hitting A on my Xbox control. It wants me to hit B. That's why it kept canceling that out. Using the right key actually get things in here. By God, the old school way of doing things. So yeah, for anybody who has issues with the way games are being made nowadays, where you get buggy games and stuff right out from the beginning, this is why people like me love our retro games, and this is one of my favorite games of all time. Strix? Strix! Come on, kid, wake up. I didn't hit you that hard. Keep your guard up, kid. Those beasts of Runefoss will tear you to pieces. Okay, that's enough for today. You'd better take it easy for a while. The storyline here is, well, like most things in the 90s for video games, truncated. Well, Strix, had enough swordplay for today? I don't know how you keep at it hour after hour. I'm dead tired after about 15 minutes. You have the makings of a great fighter, Strix. You'll be tested soon enough. Quit threatening me. Lord Varus, the king has sent for you. You must come at once. Of course, guardsman. I fear the worst, Strix. Prepare yourself for the true battle immediately. I don't wanna... Okay, now I have control of myself and should be able to go somewhere. Did you see Varius's face? He went pale. Something really big is happening. Let's split up and see if we can't find out what's going on. I'll see you later. That is one of the hardest characters in the game to level up. Low. He is your first healer. They hadn't figured out in this game how to properly allow healers to level up. They fixed that by the second one, but I haven't played that one much. That is the story, Varius. Then, Your Majesty, we have no choice but to send Strix, a young fighter. Oh, Strix. I was going to look for you. First, listen to the king. For centuries, our people have watched the gate of the ancients as its guardians. Beyond that gate lies we know not what, not even if it is of the light or the darkness. But the ancients knew, and they sealed it beyond the gate and set us as guards. And now we find that we may have failed in our mission, our reason for existence. Signs have been seen that forces of Runefoss are at the gate of the ancients. Whatever evil they're planning, we must stop it at all costs, and at once. But we must not panic the people, a small group of young but skilled warriors. Yes, he could do it. He could leave town unnoticed and have a chance to succeed, perhaps. Yes, Nova, I agree. Strix, will you take on the task? Nope. Yeah. Very well. Now return to town and gather your troops. Come back when you're ready. And then, of course, there's not much to gathering the troops. It's just leave the castle area and get assaulted by your troops. Wait, Strix, Nova sent us. We're going with you. I'm Luke, the warrior. Ken, the knight, at your service, Strix. I'll follow wherever you lead. I am Tal. Only an apprentice mage, but I'll do my best. And I'm Hans, an elven archer. I'm coming, but don't put me in the front lines, okay? Yeah, the front lines is where he does great. Wait at the headquarters back at Castle. Hey Strix, don't try and sneak out of town without me. Lo joins the Shining Force. Now that you have your comrades, return to the king to hear his final commands. I'll follow your progress and offer advice as you face the vile hordes of Runefaust. Well, that's settled. See you at headquarters. And back to talk to the king, and then I can actually get out of this town. You have your troops, but you need supplies. Take this to purchase what you need. Gains 100 coins. Typically, you should use those for buying herbs and such, but I actually skipped the first purchase round in this game. A cart will take you to the Gate of the Ancients. Now go and carry out your task. I'm going to go and immediately run away from that first fight to get one more character that I need. That's here in the beginning. Technically a hidden character, though he's not hidden very well. We can take up sticks. Move it, vermin. Find the key to this blasted door. Come on, we're almost in. Where's that blasted key? What? Blasted! Those fools from Guardiana are here. Yay, earthquake. Attack, goblins and dwarves. Strike a blow for the honor of Runefaust. And let's just go ahead and have these guys stay. The only one who can actually retreat is your main character. In my case, named Strix. If you skip naming him, his base name is Max. Come on, is he really going to be the last one to go? Yay, the slow guy. Strix, do you really want to retreat from this battle? Yes. Because I'm going to go right over here to this hut. And right over here to this guy chopping wood. I am gone. I have fought the evil of Runefaust for many years. I will aid you. Gong is a monk, and the only healer in your party the entire game who's easy to raise his level. And that's because he's good at punching things. Now I can go into the fight. So, Ken, being a centaur, is equipped currently with a spear, which can hit directly in front of him and one space out, which also gives him his diagonal hits. But unfortunately, I can't get him within range to hit anyone. So I'll just have him stand there. Gong is a meleeer and can't make it into melee range. Tao is a mage, also can't make it into her range. So yeah, the first turn, I guess, is just going to be moving. The archer, when looking at his range, it's the same as the spear, minus he can't do melee. Which is why he doesn't want to be on the front lines. He cannot hit anything directly next to him. And there's 2 goblins now that have put themselves within range of Ken, if he can weather their attacks. Fortunately, your centaur characters in this game tend to have some of your higher defense and HP. Just going to move her up to right here and have her use Blaze on this goblin. This is some of the flashing red and blues I was talking about that Sega did so much of. Low is a healer, but at this early stage in the game is a good time to use him to hit because he hits about as hard as everyone else. Literally, in the next fight, he can only hit for 1 point of damage at best. This fight's the only time he can do real damage. Let's go ahead and hit the same goblin that Lo did. This is the style of game that I want to make for my first game overall. Somewhere between what this game is and what Ogre Tactics was. Ogre Tactics is hard and scares me. I still have not beat that game after all these years. I have it on the Switch, and I still can't beat it. I still enjoy playing it, though. One of these days. This particular game I've probably beaten 1,000 times or more, because it was, up until Space Engineers, my absolute favorite game. It's just a wonderful game to play when you're thinking on other things, or you just want something to keep your hands busy while your mind is wandering wherever. That hurt. Okay, yes, come, hit the main character. The main character is, of course, the absolute toughest character in the game. Tends to do the most damage. Though in this, he only gets one type of magic, and that's egress, to retreat from the fight, which later in my series you'll see that I use a lot of. That's how you level up. You only have scripted fights in this game, so you have to figure out how to make the most of your scripted fights. So a lot of that winds up being get down to where there's one enemy left and then egress. Or keep fighting until all but one of your people are dead, and then egress. Go ahead and blaze this dwarf. It doesn't take too long before Tao winds up with Fire 2, her second level fire spell, which actually hits multiple opponents, which would be useful right about here, though she may die in one hit. Almost. Like all other RPGs like this, mages are not meant to take damage. Because they go with the classic idea of mage equals nerd, and nerd can't fight. Which doesn't entirely hold water, which is why I've changed things in my tabletop. Anyone can learn how to use any kind of weapons and armor. Anyone who's got the right stuff can be a magic user, which means, of course, magic users can happen to also know how to use a sword and wear heavier armor. Sure, they're not going to be as good at their magic because they're taking points out to be better at martial combat itself. but that's just how life is. It's why I know an awful lot about a lot of things, but I'm not an expert of anything. All depends on where you're putting your points. So the Rune Knight back there in the back, the evil centaur, I'm saving him for last, not just because of his position. If I kill him, the fight's over. And I want as much experience as possible. So I want to make sure to kill these other ones. Because 48 experience, that's halfway to a level. They did a very simple experience in this game where it's just 100 experience and you've leveled up to level 2. And then from level 2 to level 3 is another 100 experience. They just make the enemies worth less experience for hitting them or killing them as you level up. So Strix is level 2, attack increased by 1, defense increased by 1, speed increased by 1. So maybe now he won't be last. I'm going to put him over this side. That leaves room for the archer to come up on the other diagonal and for meleeers to crowd him. So this was, as far as I know, the first tactical RPG. Oh, I don't have a place I can put her that's not right in front of him. Hopefully she doesn't die. Oh, she doesn't have enough MP. So let's not move her there. We'll just put her over here. Move Gong over behind him and ring his head like a gong. Gong attack. Smack. Smack. Way to go, Gong. Good job. Fools! You have won here, but Lord Kane of Runefaust is even now attacking Guardiana. If that creature spoke truly, we must return and help defend Guardiana. Yeah, he spoke truly. Fortunately, I didn't lose anyone, because you go immediately into another combat here. If you are playing this game and you did lose someone, there is a priest in the cabin where I went to pick up Gong, and he will charge you to resurrect people, but he will resurrect people for you. This is another reason I like the game. The terrain really messes with you here. Before I was in an interior cell, everybody's able to move freely, and now I'm in hills, which slows down everybody but dwarves. Dwarves are able to run through this like it's normal flat ground. They don't care. Once I get over to the plains, I'll be able to move freely and normally. The forests, however, slow down everyone other than elves. Note, this is as far as what I have in my party right now. Later on, you get flying units, and they don't care what the terrain is. They're flying. So most of my people are just stuck in a position where they can't even move, as the goblins and dwarves slowly solidify their positions. And all I've got out so far is the elf and the dwarf. There we go. The slow human cleric got out. I'll just keep going where he is for now. Move Tal up one. Shoot another goblin. Hans is absolutely wonderful against retreating enemies like these goblins are doing right now, because they're not planning on closing into him. He's level 2, speed increased by 1, maximum hit points increased by 2. Which is going to mean he's going to look like he's taken 2 damage the rest of the fight now. They start Luke off with a sword. Your dwarves should almost certainly be using axes throughout the game. It just makes more sense for dwarves, and the way the game is coded, it works better for the dwarves. That being said, dwarves are such slow-moving units in most cases. I say most cases because obviously this is one of the cases where my dwarf is my faster character, thanks to being in the hills. Nobody's damaged, so I don't need to worry about any healing yet. The goblins up there are just about in their defensive line. So let's get up here and take one of them out. Bye-bye, goblin. Luke is level 2. Maximum hit points increased by 2. Oh look, Hans can finish this one off, unless he misses. And he did not miss. Actually, none of my characters have missed yet, have they? That's fascinating. Usually I'm missing a lot more often in the early game. And the centaur's still stuck. Poor Ken. It's games like this that made me want to make sure that I had things like centaurs and merfolk in my game world. And birdfolk. Because those are some of my favorite units in this game. Okay, don't use the thumbstick on the Xbox control. Just stick to the D-pad. The game gets really confused with the thumbstick. Likely 1 point of damage. Yeah. So, the defense of centaurs usually comes from having really high HP. The defense of dwarves comes from just having a really high defensive stat. So they usually take between 1 and 5 points of damage, depending on how tough the enemy is. Whereas the centaurs will take 5 to 30 damage, depending on how tough the enemy is. But they just weather the damage and not care. Because they have enough HP. Well, I would prefer to hit something with a bit more health with my main character. Okay, so I accidentally hit the right trigger on my Xbox control, which, with this particular setup, skips frames and fast forwards things. Useful if you don't like how slow everything is being. Move over here, hit this full health goblin in the forest. And that'll leave room for other characters as they start shuffling in slowly. Let's see, I think this one is still fairly full health. I should be able to one-shot it though, and no. And he didn't take a second hit at it. Second attacks are a very random thing in this game. There's no way to make them happen more often or anything. So, yeah, games like Ogre Tactics, Final Fantasy Tactics, they went a lot more in-depth than this first game did, testing the ideas behind the genre. But some of the base complexities are here. Your basic paper, rock, scissors that you have in every game, the golden triangle. It was applied here just like it is even in our modern games today. So she's level 2 now. Maximum magic points increases by 3. So I think it's next level she will actually gain her second level blaze spell, in keeping with AD&D of the time, which, you know, back in the 90s, when I was playing this game every single day, it was either playing this game or running AD&D. Wow, she got a fast turnaround. Okay, either one of these are going to be an easy kill, but they're not really worth the magic. So I'm going to see if she can kill this one with her staff. Whack it, towel. And she missed. I am not surprised. Hans, finish that off before it hits her. There you go, good elf. And as you can see there, he's already only getting 28 XP for the kill. Which is all Luke is going to get for killing this goblin as well, because he's also level 2. Oh no, he only got 12. So I guess there's some race class differences as far as the experience they gain. Okay, Dark Dwarf, you stung a little bit. So let's just hammer your health down here. If Lo is able to do at least 1 damage, which he did, the dwarf now has just enough HP to be killed in 1 shot with a Blaze 1 spell. So I'm going to ignore that Dark Dwarf and come hit this one. Wow, the centaur still isn't making it into the fight. Poor Kin just too slow in those hills. Of course, once we make it to the plains, Kin is going to outrun everyone else. Because centaur. Go ahead and blaze this dwarf out of here. Now, if your main character, in my case, Strix, dies, that is, your current battle is over, and you are immediately sent back to the closest priest, and you lose half of your money, half of your coins. So it is certainly best to make sure that if anyone's going to go down, it's at least not your main character. You should definitely hit the egress before then. Which, like I said, that's a spell that he starts with. And egress just takes you to the nearest priest, exactly as death would. Do I happen to have any herbs? No. Didn't buy any, and it doesn't start you with any. So I will have to get Lo or Gong over next to the main character to heal him up. And Gong gets over here first. So throw a fairy. Hilariously, in our Sunday morning playtest campaign of Chrono Conquest, the healer of the party is a fairy. So, accidentally, that mechanic wound up in my game. I say accidentally because I just put in the fairies because, you know, what's a fantasy world without fairies? It was the player, another YouTuber by the name of SmileTut, who decided that said fairy was going to do absolutely nothing for combat at all, just be a healer and a buffer. And wound up also being the party's animal tamer for taming predators, because it's in the second era, the Mesolithic era, right around the time we started domesticating things like dogs, which is why I put in taming predator. Okay, Hans is level 3, speed increased by 1. So he took the tame predator skill and wound up getting himself a wolf. Just gonna stuff my main character there and try to get one of these healers over in behind him. All the meleeers are otherwise useless, other than switching in to take Strix's place. Which, if I'm able to get a healer over there, I shouldn't need. And then I can sit back here with Hans, Tao, and Ken to be able to take on these guys at range. He should be fine for right now, so I'll wait another turn. She has this one blast, so I'll get Ken in line behind her to switch in. After she's tapped her energy and half killed the enemy. But yeah, it's always great in games like this to find places where the enemy has messed up. And by messed up, I mean exactly as they did here. They've got one little bridge that I'm able to put one of my toughest characters on and just shut down their ability to get across. That being said, my main character is one shot away from dead. So hopefully Gong does get a turn before the Dark Dwarf does. I guess Ken moves in next time. Go on, double hit the Dark Dwarf. There's one. Go for a second. Nope. Okay, Gong. Throw a heal to the boss. The boss needs heals. And there we go. I am no longer in danger of losing half of my money. Of course, if you're going to lose half of your money, this is the time to do it when you don't have any. Ouch. Alright, here's this Rune Knight dead. Dark Dwarf dead. And then there's just that last Rune Knight. Strix is increased to level 3. Attack increases by 3. Defense level increases by 2. speed increased by 1, and maximum hit points by 1. Okay, Rune Knight. Eat spear. Just move him over here. Yeah, Gong, come down here and punch this guy. Maybe you can get level 2 out. Yep, level 2. Attack increases by 1. Defense increased by 1. Speed increased by 1. Well done, Shining Force. Now, enter Guardiana and find out what's happening in there. You made it back. You're a little late. We were almost overrun by Runefaust. We held them off, but we've suffered greatly, as you'll see as you wander around. Most of our knights were lost in the battle. Many homes were damaged, but we held. We'll keep watch here. Runefaust is bound to attack again, sooner or later. So I'm actually, before I go to see the king, gonna come up here. If you wander the town before leaving, you'll find Gort up here in the bar. He's not interested in joining you. You know, that little fracas made me want to fight again. Strix, I'm joining up. Gort joins the Shining Force. Which means I now have 2 dwarves to fight for me on the line. Much stronger. Wander through the rest of this poor, destroyed town. Hurry, Strix. Cade of Runefaust has injured the king and Lord Varios. Go away, Cade. I don't understand what you're talking about. Anyway, the treasure of Guardiana is in my hands now. I won't let you take that. Just leave. Sword of Darkness, show me your power. Ah! Various dies. No, Father, I can't believe it. I'll... Do what? Now, Guardiana is unworthy of my attention. Farewell, fools! Strix, look to the king. Strix, May, I don't think I'll live much longer, though Various protected me. Listen, the Gate of the Ancients is the only access to the tower, and the gate can be opened only by the key. You must find it before it falls into the hands of evil. You should never let them open the gate. Find out why Runefaust is interested in the gate. Please, May, daughter of the great Varios, help Strix. Avenge your father, and be strong. Your Majesty, please tell my daughter Anri in Manarina to stay strong for her people. The king dies. Now is not the time for tears and grief. Alterone should be our next goal. Strix, let's go find that key. I don't want to see any more of these tragedies. Yeah, well, get ready to see a lot more tragedies. Because this is the days of comical evil. I'll await you at headquarters. Be quick. Speaking of headquarters, that's not here. That was over here. Yeah. That little shield symbol there tells you where your headquarters is in each little town. Here you have your advisor, that will let you change your party and everything. I did not mean to go back up the stairs. This is your current chosen roster. As you see, there's another row down here, -1, because this is your slot. So 3 more characters you can have in your combat roster. And everybody who's not in your combat roster is just hanging out in your bar and tavern. Which is always the same general makeup, but looks slightly different in each location. Like less banged up or different floors, but it's always the exact same layout. Because, this was an 8-bit cartridge, or a 16-bit cartridge. They're trying to save as much space as possible. But anyway, if you enjoyed today's episode, go ahead and hit the like button down below. If you want to see more of what I'm getting up to, there's always that subscribe button. Until next time, have a good one.